This is episode 40 of JoeLumb's album review. This is Monday, so you know what that means. This week I'm going to be reviewing Ozzy Osbourne's third studio record, Bark at the Moon. Remember, when you're done watching this video, you can go back and watch past episodes of album review. The playlist is in the description box. Let's get to work. Bark at the Moon is Ozzy Osbourne's third album. It's the only Ozzy album on which the songwriting is credited entirely to Ozzy himself. However, guitarist Jake E. Lee maintains that he composed a significant amount of the album's music, but was cheated out of his writing and publishing claims by Sharon Osbourne, the wife and manager of Ozzy. I wonder why. Lee claims that after he had composed the songs and completed his recording parts in the studio, he was presented with a contract which stated that he would have no claim to any writing or publishing relating to the album. The contract also stated that Lee could not mention this publicly. Lee also claims that he signed the contract because he had no legal representation and because Sharon threatened to fire him and have another guitarist re-record his parts if he refused. Ozzy himself admitted several years later in the liner notes to The Oz Man Cometh that Lee had been involved in the album's writing to at least some degree, stating that the album's title track was in fact co-written by the guitarist. Osbourne's bassist at the time, Bob Daisley, has mirrored Lee's account on the album's production, stating that he co-wrote most of the music with Lee and wrote the vast majority of the lyrics. Daisley had stated that he accepted a buyout from Osbourne in exchange for a writing credit. Osbourne's former drummer Lee Kerslake, who also played with Daisley in a Uriah Heep, after leaving Osbourne's band, stated that Daisley had been hired by Sharon Osbourne to write the Bark at the Moon album for 50, 60 grand, or whatever it is. He was offered a chance to write with Ozzy, words, music, write the album. Some European pressings identified the track Center of Eternity as Forever. On tours for the album, Osbourne referred to it as Forever. This can be heard on bootleg recordings of tours promoting the album. The title track was released as the album's first single, with an accompanying music video, the first Osbourne had made. In the early 80s infancy of the music video medium, the video was highly anticipated due to his outrageous image. The decision to release the ballad So Tired as the album's second single was unpopular with many longtime fans. The track Spiders in the Night was originally included only in European, Australian, New Zealand, and Greek releases, but was included on a 1995 CD reissue and the 2002 reissue, simply listed as Spiders. Composed by Daisley, the lyrics to the song Now You See It, Now You Don't were a pointed rebuke aimed at Osbourne's wife and manager Sharon, who had fired him from the band in 1981. Daisley stated many years later he was surprised that Osbourne Camp allowed the lyrics on the album. Shortly after Bark at the Moon's 1983 release, a Canadian man by the name of James JoeLumb murdered a woman and her two children after allegedly listening to the album. The media and Christian groups began to infer that the music was satanic and had influenced JoeLumb to commit the act. The timing was particularly inopportune for Osbourne, who was at the time facing allegations that his song Suicide Solution had influenced a fan to commit suicide. Anyway, Bark at the Moon is Osbourne's third solo album after parting ways with Black Sabbath in '79. His only studio record to feature drummer Tommy Aldridge was a fixture of his live band in the early 80s. He departed after the recording of this album and was briefly replaced by Carmen Appice, but returned mid-tour after Appice was removed by the Osbournes. When asked why Aldridge was brought back, Ozzy himself told Hit Parader magazine in early '84 for health reasons. Appice was making me sick. Nonetheless, Appice did appear in a popular music video for the Bark at the Moon single. What I'm going to do for the track listing is go through the US edition, the Japanese and 1995 reissue bonus track, and the 2002 reissue bonus tracks. As noted, all lyrics and music credited to Ozzy Osbourne except where noted. The song Bark at the Moon, written by Ozzy, Jakey Lee, and Bob Daisley, clocks in at 4:16. You're No Different clocks in at 5:49. Now You See It, Now You Don't clocks in at 5:10. Rock and Roll Rebel clocks in at 5:23. Center of Eternity, aka Forever, clocks in at 5:15. So Tired clocks in at 4:02. Slowed Down clocks in at 4:20. Waiting for Darkness clocks in at 5:16. And the Japanese edition and the 1995 reissue, the bonus track Spiders in the Night, or Spiders, clocks in at 4:31. And in the 2002 reissue bonus tracks, Spiders clocks in at 4:31. One Up the B-side clocks in at 3:23. Bark at the Moon was released on November 18th, 1983. The record was produced by Ozzy Osbourne, Bob Daisley, and Max Norman. It was a commercial success, which peaked at number 19 on the Billboard album chart, and within several weeks of the release, it was certified gold in the United States. To date, it has gone triple platinum in the United States. In the UK, it was third of 4 Osbourne albums to attain silver certification, which means 60,000 units sold by the British phonographic industry, achieving this in January of 1984. The album was remastered on CD in 1995, and again with a different mix in 2002. Again, this is Osbourne's first album to feature guitarist Jakey Lee, and the only studio album to feature drummer Tommy Aldridge. You know, look, before I get my overall rating in, I just want to say one thing. And this is me giving my opinion on the whole situation. There are a lot of reasons why rock stars do not like Sharon Osbourne at all. They may have respected Ozzy, but you know what? Sharon Osbourne could be a real bitch, and everybody knew it. I think guys like Bruce Dickinson knew it, Jakey Lee knew it, Bob Daisley, Lee Kerslake, Jakey Lee, Phil Soussan, who would appear on playing bass on the next record, Ultimate Sin, knew it. So, as far as I'm concerned, there are a lot of reasons why many rock stars out there really, really, really fucking hate Sharon Osbourne. My overall rating for this record happens to be a 75 out of 100. I happen to like the songs Bark at the Moon, You're No Different, Now You See It, Now You Don't, and Rock and Roll Rebel. Although, I gave Waiting for Darkness a listen to one time, and it was very underrated, to be honest with you. I think the whole record was very underwhelming due to the controversy behind how Jakey Lee was fucked out of all the royalties from creating that song, thanks to Sharon Osbourne. So, make it of it what you will, but it's still a good album nonetheless. This has been JoeLumb's album review for this Monday.
Don't you believe in